Hi everybody and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator on my Xbox Series S. In this video I'm going to show you how to recreate the flight of the famous World War II Dambusters raid from the 16th and 17th of May 1943, where 19 British RAF Lancaster Bombers from the famous 617 squadron took off in intervals from 9:30 at night and flew at extremely low level into the heart of Germany to attempt to destroy 3 dams and send a deluge of water through the Nazi industrial complex. The catch was that in order to blow holes in these dams, a special bouncing bomb had to be used, a massive 9,000 pound or 4,000 kilogram cylinder that had to be dropped onto the water of the reservoirs from a height of exactly 60 feet, which is only 18 meters, and with the bomber traveling at exactly 232 miles per hour, and all of this in darkness and under heavy enemy fire. The bomb would then skip across the water, avoiding all the obstacles, hit the dam, sink, explode under the water and breach the dam. As it turned out, 2 of the dams were breached, the Möhne and the Eder, causing widespread death, disruption and destruction to German industry, but at the heavy cost of 8 aircraft lost and 53 of the RAF aircrew killed out of a total of 113 taking part. The Dambusters raid proved to be a massive morale boost to the wartime British public, and 617 Squadron and its flyers will forever be remembered for this amazing act of skilled aviation and bravery. So, in this video I'm going to show you how you can recreate the flight paths of the Lancaster Bombers on that legendary raid. We're going to start off with some simple A to B flight plans that will get you flying over the dams. And then I'll show you how to start and finish a full flight plan. But we're going to kind of concentrate on a truncated version which will start and end at the Dutch coast. Basically really for convenience and time's sake, otherwise if you want to do this it would take hours and hours. Also, please bear in mind that these flight plans follow the approximate route the Dambusters took, but it can't be completely historically accurate. But if you do come across some complete flight plans, please let me know and I'll add links to the video description below. I'll also put timestamps in the description below the video so you can jump ahead to the sections you're interested in. Okay, so let's start off with our flyover of the Möhne Dam. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, now we're going to be putting in a lot of latitude and longitude coordinates, so I highly recommend if you've got a USB keyboard, plug it into your Series S or Series X. It's going to make things a lot easier. Also, I will put these coordinates in the description below the video as well, so don't worry if you can't quite follow along. Okay, so our start point for our flyover of the Möhne Dam is 51.44527, so 51.444527, comma 8.131453. Okay, so then we hit the 3 lines on our Xbox controller. That will then find that, and then we just go down to where it says custom here, tap A, and there we go. Bring our cursor down, hold it over the point, press the button, set as departure. There we go. Now we want to go up to the search box again, and this time our endpoint is going to be 51.494. .691, comma 8.050, .891. Hit the 3 lines button, come down to where it says custom, and we do that set as arrival. And if we zoom in, what you'll see is there's our start, and there's the Möhne Dam right there. So we're going to be flying right over it. So we're going to have to come in, fly over this little bit of headland jutting out, and then fly down again. Now what I suggest you do at this point is if you hit B to go back, you don't want to do that, go back into the world map. Sorry, don't hit B to go back. You want to hit the little button on your controller that has the 2 squares on, and then hit load save. And you want to save this, and we'll give it a name. So let's give it Möhne, M-O-H-N-E, and we will save it as a plan. It can be a flight plan, it can be a flight file or a PLN. The flight file contains everything, including the aircraft and weather and all that sort of stuff, where a PLN file just contains the flight plan itself, so it doesn't really matter which one, but we'll save it as a PLN. That way, if we get rid of it. So, if you want to try this out, choose the aircraft. Now, we'll be talking a little bit more about aircraft choice in a bit. Hit fly. Now, as you can see, we're really high now with the Möhne Dam in front of us. So what we want to do, depending on the aeroplane you're going to be in and the assist, we just want to get down lower to start off with. Right, now remember the Dambusters were coming in at about 100 feet. So this should kind of give you an idea. Like, I am way too high now. We just want to be skirting these trees as we go over the top. And then we want to dip down, and you'll see how little time we have. How fast am I doing? I'm probably doing about 220 knots, so just skirting above the water. If we're in a Lancaster, we'd be a little bit off course now because we want to be parallel. We'd drop our bomb. And there we are, over the top of the dam. How absolutely cool is that? Right, let's crack on to the next dam. Okay, so now let's do the Eder Dam. Right, let's go to the search box. And we want to search for 51.211. 689, comma 9.009, 607. So we want to hit the 3 lines on our controller, go down to the custom box there, take our cursor over to the little pointer, set as departure. Then we want to go back to the search box. Now we want to search for 51.1816, 51.1816, 08, comma 9.062, 889. Search for that. Go down to the little box. Set as arrival. Then if we zoom in again, should see. There we go. So we've got to kind of come down the length of the reservoir, and then the dam will be there. Just remember again, when we start, we'll start out pretty high. Now first things first, again, hit the little button with the 2 squares on your controller. Hit it again, and you'll want to save. And we'll call this one Eder. We'll save it as a PLN. And then we'll do this in a different aeroplane. Let's do this in the actually we'll do it in this little twin engine one. I bet the Dambusters would have killed for a GPS system like this, wouldn't they? Right, so now we've got to get down nice and low. Now this dam didn't actually have that much air defences. There we go, there is the edge of the dam. Boom! So we would have dropped our bomb. And there it is. Right, so let's head on to the next one. A look at a run over the Sorpe Dam. Now the Sorpe Dam was a little bit different in the fact that on the night of the Dambusters raid it wasn't actually destroyed. They did drop a bomb on it, and in fact there is some evidence that one of the planes might have attacked another dam nearby by mistake. But because this was a different design of dam, with the Sorpe Dam the idea wasn't to attack it over the reservoir and drop a bouncing bomb to skip along the water. The idea was to more drop a bouncing bomb like a conventional bomb, so they wouldn't put the backspin on it like they did with the others and just drop it down. However, the thing was, the chances of them destroying this dam, were really small anyway, unless they had 7 or 8 of the bouncing bombs left. And at this point they didn't. I think there was only 2 or 3 Lancasters left that still had bombs. The rest had been used destroying the 2 previous dams. So our flight path over the Sorpe, instead of going like at right angles to the direction of the dam, it goes in parallel with it. So anyway, so let's go to the search box. And let's put in 51.3753. Comma 7.929 141. Hit the 3 lines on our controller, go down to where it says custom, bring our cursor down onto the little dot, set as departure, go to the search box again. Now we're going to be putting 51.347 623, comma 7.929 sorry, wrong 7.976 844. Search for that, click on that, set as arrival, and it will zoom out again. So if we zoom in again, you'll see there's the dam, and you can see this is a much bigger dam, and we're going to be flying sort of over the top of it. Let's choose a different aircraft again. Okay, so can we get up a bit further? So with this bombing run, again, the Lancaster would have been coming in. I'm not sure if they were coming in from this direction or from the opposite direction, but they would have been flying parallel with the dam, with the idea of dropping the bouncing bomb as just a massive conventional bomb. And the idea was to drop several of these bombs, because they knew, because there's the sheer mass of concrete and earth that were on this one, that would be the only way to destroy it. So you want to be approaching this dam from much higher up. And then it would have been dive bomb, line up the bomb sites, release the bomb, skedaddle out of there before it exploded. In fact, an interesting fact about this one is that they tried to attack the bomb later in the year as well with, might even have been 45, with tall boy bombs, the massive bombs. and they still didn't succeed in destroying the dam. However, after the war, I think it was in 1955, they drained the reservoir to repair the bomb damage, and they discovered an unexploded Tallboy bomb just sitting there. So bomb disposal experts from the British Army, or the RAF I think it was, and Germany had to have a go at disarming this bomb that had been underwater for sort of it would have been over 10 years, wouldn't it? So, which they did successfully, luckily. So there we go. That's that dam. So what we'll do now is we now look at doing like a whole flight path, so you can recreate everything. Hi everybody. Right, now we're going to look at doing the whole Dambusters flight plan. But there is a bit of an option here. So the Dambusters flew from Scampton, kind of about here in sort of the middle of England, all the way through Holland, Germany, and to the dams. And that is a very, very long flight to do, especially in a piston engine aircraft. So I'm going to give you a couple of options really. I'm going to show you how to start the flight from Scampton, and then I'm going to show you probably a more realistic thing to do, which is to start the flight from the Dutch coast, because then it's still a long flight, and you'll need to get down low, and you'll get the feeling of speed as you whiz over the Dutch and the German countryside. But you won't have to do this big hop over the channel. So if you want to start right at the beginning, you want to go to your search box and you want to put in SCAMPTON, like that, and you want to search for that, and you want to go to EGXP Scampton. So that's the airfield there, and then what you can do is you can select one end of the runway, set as departure, select the other end, set as arrival. So that means our flight will begin and end at Scampton. And kind of the way that the Dambusters, well, one of the flights did, they went east from Scampton and kind of passed onto the Dutch mainland about there. So you would then add that as a waypoint like that, and then you would then sort of go south, and then when you're coming back, we kind of reckon that they passed over the Dutch coast about there, and then sort of flew back to Scampton that way. So if you want the full experience, start your full flight plan from Scampton. However, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to reset our flight plan, and then I'm going to start it from the coast. Okay, because it's a little bit more practical then. So what you want to do is you want to put your start point about here by these little islands, and you will set that as your departure there, and then you want to put your arrival about there. Okay, so that's kind of the starting point. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to fly into Holland, fly through Germany, and then we're going to fly back this way. Now just remember, when you do start, the Flight Simulator will start you way too high. So you'll need to drop down first and maybe spiral down, and then you want to head over the countryside. You want to really be looking at getting down to 100 feet. Right, okay, so now let's put in some coordinates for our first waypoint. So if we go to the search box and we put in 51.679 298 comma 6.065 761. And if we search for that, there it is. And we would just want to add that in. So we add that. So you can see our flight plan starting to develop now. So from the coast down to this bit. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to go east. So we're going to go to the search box again, clear all that, and we want to put in 51.726 116, comma 7.35 3206, and we search for that. And we set that as add. So as you can see, this is where we're heading east into Germany now. So that was, we're kind of, at that point, we're kind of in Belgium and Holland, I think, and then we've headed east into Germany. Now we're going to make the hop to the Möhne Dam. So if we go into here. Now, the coordinates for this one, this is actually is the Möhne Dam. So the ones we did earlier were coordinate to either side of the Möhne Dam, so you can do a fly past. This is exactly to the Möhne Dam, so it's 51.489.674, comma 808.059 191. So if we search for that, what we'll do, if we zoom in, you can see that's the Möhne Dam. So we click on that and we add. Now the idea is that with these dam ones, when you get to the dam, you're going to have a look round first to kind of get a feel of the lie of the land and how you're going to do your attack. In the real situation, this is kind of what happened, because although the Dambusters had photographs of models of what they were going to be attacking, and they'd done practice attacks on UK lakes, they still weren't quite sure what's going to happen when they got there. So they got there, they had a look round, and then they started to go in. And in fact, in the other two dams, on the Eder and the Sorpe Dam, they did, especially the Eder Dam, they did practice runs first to make sure they would get it get it right. So speaking of the Sorpe Dam, so we've got to go to the Eder Dam next. So let's click on that. And the Eder Dam is 51.183 479, comma 9.058 283. Let's look for that one. And we just want to add that one. So let's zoom in. So there you can see there's the, just about make out there's the dam there. So again, have a look when you get there, pop up, fly around, decide on the best bit of attack. And now it's off to the final dam, the Sorpe, the one that didn't get destroyed. And that one is 51.351. .183, comma 7.968 894. So let's search for that one. Let's add it in. Now remember, this dam, they didn't drop a bouncing bomb on. The idea with this dam was to drop the bombs almost as like normal bombs, and they were going to drop lots of them, but they didn't have enough bombs to destroy it. Right, so what you want to do now is you just want to zoom out a little bit, and then we want to go on our way home. But they didn't kind of fly in a straight line like this, because that would have taken them too close to like Dusseldorf. What they were always trying to do by flying low was to get underneath the radar, and also they wanted to avoid known flak points as well. So you want to put in another point about here. So if you... this might have to zoom in a bit. Let's have a look. So if we add a point there, that's kind of a little bit more like what they would have done. So as you can see, we cross the Dutch close there on the way in. We go south through Holland, east into Germany, down to the dams, back up again, west through. We might go through a little bit of Belgium actually, and then out from I think that's the coast of Holland there, and then it would have been back across. Now that is still a long flight, but it's definitely definitely worth doing. Now, while we're here, let's talk about the aircraft that you might want to use, because unfortunately we don't have access to a Lancaster bomber in Microsoft Flight Simulator for Xbox at the moment, and we don't have access even to like a larger twin engine prop plane, or even a 3-engine one. Maybe if we had like the Dakota DC-3, that might do it. So the choice of plane that you do this with is going to be completely up to you. Now, I have got the Spitfire DLC, so there's an argument for using the Spitfire. You know, at least it's got a similar engine to what the Lancaster had. It's got, you know, the controls are of that era, you know, and so the look you're going to get. However, I think, you know, there's definitely a strong argument for just using a smaller aircraft, even like the Cessna, because you're really just recreating it for a bit of fun. And there is an argument for using the Airbus A320. The Airbus A320 actually is only a little bit bigger than a Lancaster. I think it's quite a bit longer, but the wingspan's about the same. Obviously much more powerful and quite a lot faster. However, the cockpit position you get in something like the Airbus, which is quite, you know, high up, when you're flying very low, would have been kind of similar to probably to something like you would have seen out of the Dambuster, you know, kind of. And what you can do is, if you use the A320, you can lean forward, you know, get your view up against the screen, so you're not looking at the electronic dials. And the beauty of using something like the A320 is that it's got the sluggish responsiveness that I mean the Lancasters were, you know, they could move around a bit. But they weren't like a Spitfire, they weren't like a Cessna, they weren't like a Pitt Special, you know. But something like the Airbus, with its slower response, its slower rate of turn, could kind of give you a real appreciation of how difficult it is to fly low continuously, and avoiding objects. So, you know, there's an argument for doing that. So pick whichever plane you want to go with. Now, what I will do is I will be doing another video about the next day from the Dambuster raid, because what happened was the next day, at 7:30 in the morning, they sent out a Spitfire and then a number more Spitfires, reconnaissance Spitfires, to find out what happened. And so something just like this Spitfire here, the blue one, a reconnaissance one, would have taken off from their base south of the Dambusters base, can't remember which one it was, flown to 30,000 feet and hammered it across Europe to take pictures of the dam and the surrounding areas, and then hammered it back again. And these special reconnaissance Spitfires had no armament, the armour was stripped out of them as well. It was all about fuel load, speed, and having the cameras. You know, they relied on altitude, stealth, the fact that they were by themselves, and speed to outrun any enemies. And these are the ones that took those all-important famous photographs that were then published afterwards and shown around the world, the damage the Dambusters has done. So, you know, I'll do a video with that, you know, and then we are kind of really recreating, almost with the aeroplane that was there for that mission the next day. The other thing is should you do this at night? Because obviously the Dambuster raids were done at night. I'll leave that up to you. It's very, very difficult to fly low level at night. And you don't actually see that much either. So I would kind of say fly during the day, you recreate it, you get a real good sense of speed, and I think it helps you appreciate what those pilots and what those aircrew did as they were flying along. And also things like I would say turn on the assist as well. You want this to be like a recreation. I mean, I guess you could make it as challenging as you want, but you want to give yourself a little bit of breathing room, especially when you're flying low over those lakes. You know, if you clip the odd tree, you don't want to crash. You want to keep going down. Speaking of that, height is incredibly important. So let's talk about the height. I just want to read you some quotes from the time. So while the Dambusters were flying over the channel here and the North Sea, one of the bombers flew so low that the bomb that was hanging underneath the aircraft hit the water ripped the bomb out, and the aircraft had to return base. That's how low they were going. They were clipping the waves of the channel when they were going over to avoid radar. As they were flying through Holland and Germany, they were going so low that they had to hop up, so they had to quickly pull up on the controls to fly over power lines, and two of the Lancasters on the way to the dams crashed because they hit power lines. When they were coming back over the coast, some of the flak guns that the Germans were firing at them had to be aimed so low that the shells were hitting the water and skipping off the water and flying over the top of the Lancasters. They were going that slow. And there's a famous quote as well, when one of the a guy called Chalmers, who was in one of the Lancasters, looked out of his window, and he realised that they were flying down a fire break in a forest, lower than the trees. That's how low these guys were going. Incredibly low. So really, the maximum flight height you want to be at as you're going through Holland and Germany is 100 feet. You want to be at 100 feet. You're right on the deck. You know, you've got your throttle maxed out, and you're going along. I'll leave some other links as well in the description below the video, so you can read more about the Dambusters raid. And there's a lot of debate about how effective it was. What is without debate is the fact that it was a massive morale boost to the British, and around the world as well. When people saw the fact that this was done, it did cause an awful lot of damage in Germany, and did put a big dip in their production for a while. Unfortunately, a lot of innocent people were killed as well, especially Russian forced labourers, and lots of women were in the way of the wave as it came down. And also, I think something that they don't talk about very much anywhere really on the web is the morale effect it must have had on the German populace as well. Because when they realised that, wait a minute, that the British can bring down dams, and cause these massive flooding in the country, that must have made them think twice about, how well is this war going? What's going to be happening in other places as well? Am I safe where I'm working here? And raise the general stress level, general stress level that way. So there we go. Operation Chastise, the mission by the Dambusters 617 Squadron to take down the dams in the Ruhr in the heart of Germany during World War II. Enjoy it, recreate it, try and get a feel of what those aviators went through, and I think it's absolutely fantastic that we can do that in this game. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. If you've got any ideas for missions that we can recreate, put them in the comment section down below, and I'll see you again soon.